Sometimes the only way to learn that something isn't good for you is to still try it anyways. Please don't actually take that advice. There's some things in life you should never try. But for the sake of this video, here are 4 stupid things I've done as a car guy. Daily driving my most car guy car. Now this was something I absolutely convinced myself that I had to do based on a lot of YouTubers that I admired and watched and that they did too. But over time, funnily enough, I noticed a lot of those YouTubers stopped following their own advice and stopped daily driving their most car guy car. I used to think the biggest display of commitment as a car enthusiast was to drive your pride and joy, basically your most expensive, your most intense project car. Basically, like, that's what I mean when I say car guy car. Like, not having an easy to maintain daily driver like a Toyota Camry, like you're going out of your way to drive like your 1,000 horsepower manual Mustang or stuff like that, and you've seen videos about that. Yet think of that, you know, if we actually dissect it, and you know what, I'm not gonna try to sound smart. By the way, this isn't me trying to say that you shouldn't daily drive your car guy car, because for all I know, you made a much smarter decision than me and bought a more dailyable car enthusiast style vehicle like a Subaru WRX. Please don't take offense to this. Let me go on with my experience though. We drive our cars because at the end of the day, it is part of our ego, and we love being seen in them, and we love how they feel. They do make us feel something. When I drove my Z06, I thought that commitment to driving a car guy car every day made me more of a car guy because I need to feel like a car guy who's a car guy that makes car guy videos for car guys on YouTube. Car guys. Sorry, I just wanted to say it one more time. I did a lot of things to my Z06, like I was constantly sinking cash into mods, I was paying for its gas, I was building my cooling system so I could actually drive in bumper to bumper summer traffic and not overheat. I was constantly cleaning the car because it's constantly being driven every single day in rain, gravel, or even snow. The point I'm trying to make is the more I daily drove the car, the more I had to mod it for that, and unfortunately, the less enjoyable it became. You know, the whole appeal of the Z06 model specifically is that it's supposed to feel like a tuned down track car. It's an experience, it really is. I love the Z06 models of every generation of Corvette. I think it's an amazing car, but I forgot how amazing it was because somewhere along the way I got lost because I was watering mine down. Like I distinctly remember thinking around the 30k mileage mark, I was like, why don't I enjoy driving my Z06 as much anymore? One of the reasons is because constant Atlanta traffic. When I lived in Indiana, I loved my Z06, but I was still doing some stupid things with it back then. I put all seasons on the car because I was tired of UTQ ratings of 180, much less 300, and only having tires that last 10,000 miles. My brakes were no longer drilled, they were now slotted steel brakes instead of drilled carbon ceramic. I'm not against them not being carbon ceramic, but I do miss having a larger front piston and having a larger rear piston and having drilled rotors because I think that really made the car feel a little bit more like a supercar in terms of performance. And again, back to the point I'm making, the solution to this isn't to just think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have bought the Z06 model. I should have just gotten a Stingray if I wanted to daily drive a car. The solution, this could have been solved by sucking up my pride and daily driving something else. And I finally learned this of all things with a freaking scooter, which I will never shut the hell up about because I love it. Don't you talk crap about my Super Cub, it's adorable and it does its job perfectly. I do adore riding this vehicle around town. It's a great vehicle. I still think it's fun, and I think having vehicles like this in America are extremely underrated and underappreciated. I don't feel danger on it. I'm not gonna speed fast enough or pump a wheelie enough to hurt myself on it, but it does its job. It takes away a lot of miles and a lot of mundane moments that I had to put my Z06 through, that I finally started scratching my head and realizing, why did I put my Z06 through this? I ended up putting the Z06 back on summer tires. I ended up putting it back on a big brake kit. Everything that made it special, I was returning it to that reason. Looking back, I can't believe I used to laugh and tease and make fun of boomers who didn't put enough miles in their Corvette, or people who collected cars, because when I actually think about it, it's their life, their money, they can do what they want, and more importantly, a lot of them ended up having other vehicles that they could use regardless, because by the time you're 60 years old and retired, you've worked a full work life, so you have enough money to buy more than one vehicle. Having said that, it also makes the vehicle, in this case like a Z06, or really any like car that you love, the less you drive it, the more you love it. It becomes an experience. Having said that, you shouldn't stay too much away from it, so I'm still a bit iffy with collectors, and my biggest fear is if you don't spend enough time with it, it is going to negatively impact the car, because cars do want to move, they are machines, and obviously if you're just letting it rot for an entire year straight, that's not good for its internals. But if you're just driving it like as a weekend warrior, that's fine. I finally understand the appeal of weekend warriors because that's now what I do with mine. I don't daily it anymore. The second thing in this video is actually caring what random strangers on the road think of your car. Yes, this also includes other car guys, so strangers doesn't just mean non-car people, and don't act like that we haven't had this competitive spirit. I'm not above it either. I would be passed by 1400 horsepower underground racing Aventador and be like, oh, that's so cool, that's such a cool car, and I'll still try to give chase like an idiot, knowing full well they're gonna gap me at a roll race, just because I want to see them give it gas, and because I'm able to follow them, and because they know I'm a car guy and they're a car guy and they want to impress the inner car guys and competitive spirit, they will hit their gas and leave me. But I didn't actually want to race them. I just wanted to just see their potential and how much faster 1400 is visualized to 756. This happens in the inverse situation. I'll have people in very normal grocery getter cars go up to my Z06 and try to play with me because they're like, I want to see what the Z06 is capable of. I want to see what car looks like visualized. It gets really obnoxious after a while. Like, I'm now starting to see why every supercar owner doesn't like it when other people race and bite them and constantly just mess with them, follow them, and take photos of them or yell out their window, do a burnout, bro, hit your gas, bro, downshift, bro, shoot a flame, bro, like, oh my god. And the cool gamer move to avoid this whole situation is to kind of drive more invisibly. I noticed if you stay more in the right lane and less in the left lanes, people kind of just think you're someone going to work or someone who's just an old dude driving their Corvette on a Sunday. It's pretty peaceful, I'm not gonna lie. Like, your driving behavior tells a lot about how people should treat you. As awful as it sounds, I like being the NPC these days, because traffic is not enjoyable in a big city. I still really miss living in the Midwest, or living somewhere emptier. Especially on the weekends during nighttime, there are a lot of drunk drivers in the city, and you cannot predict them. Like, you don't want to be blasting by them at triple digits, because you'll never know if they'll just clip right into you. Like, some of these guys cannot hold lanes. I'm the type of guy who's just gonna stomp my pedal in the early mornings, you know? That's when I actually like to just do car guy things. I'm not gonna be your mother and tell you to be a boring person, go buy a fun car, and never ever use its potential. I bought the full speedometer, I'm using the full speedometer. But there's a time and place to do it. I can't find many places to do anymore. Lately, like I said, the best time I found to do it's actually early in the morning, but the third thing that I really think was a stupid thing I did, that I think a lot of car guys and other car YouTubers still kind of do, is being overly nitpicky and hypercritical. So as car enthusiasts, we're still all nerds, we love cars, it's fine. But we do try too hard to sound smart. Absolutely, when I look at some of my older videos, I wince really hard where I look at how I talk and try to sound smart and get really nitpicky over stupid things. Like, anytime I would say something positive, I had to immediately say something negative or stupid or arbitrary just to make it sound like I was some kind of critic. Like, people who do wine tasting are like this too, and it's funny because I make fun of snobs all the time on this channel, only to look back at myself and be like, dude, you're kind of snobby. The one main thing I've grown up to become, I guess, is when I look at cars like Honda N1s or Honda Fits, I'm like, dang, these are cool as f. I look at K cars and I think the same thing. I'm like, dude, these are so quirky, they're so cool. And you'll have people in the background, and past me would have done it, where he'll stand on the sidelines, be like, they're cool, but this and this problem, blah 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 blah. I couldn't compliment someone without also knocking them down a few pegs. To be fair, everyone else did the same freaking thing. They would do this all the time at car meets, like, hey Bladed, I love your new mod, but insert whatever. Or like, I'd go up to their car like, dude, I like your Miata, but you could use better wheels, or oh, you could use better fitment, or blah blah blah. Like, we would never shut the heck up about what we told other car enthusiasts or what they told us. So that's one of the other reasons I don't really go to car meets anymore. I made a whole video about it. I like that video. I still stand by what I say in that video, but I do still love cars. I enjoy cars. I love being around people who are passionate about cars. I've just outgrown that type of audience or vibe, in the sense that, yo, who the F cares, you know? Like my dream car right now is like a Honda N1. I'm not even joking. I want the N1 RS. I want that to be brought over to the United States, and I will buy it in a heartbeat because it is such a cool, quirky car. I don't care that it's not fast. I don't care that it's not a giant truck. I'm not gonna nitpick it because I just understand what it serves and what purpose it's supposed to be. And I think I actually learned that from motorcycles, funnily enough. I think motorcycles made me think differently of cars and kind of take for granted how much I just overinterpret it. Because motorcyclists, you know, I know this isn't the point of the video, but I'll briefly talk about it. And my brother told me this because he was a motorcyclist. I was one before him, funny enough, but he was one longer than me now, because I started off as a motorcyclist, but he was the one who actually ended up staying as one, whereas I ended up, quote unquote, evolving into a car guy. But returning back to the world of motorcycles, I kind of realized they don't care. Like, the biggest rivalries are like like Harley owners and crotch rockets. But everyone in between, they really don't care. You can pull up on any motorcycle and they'll just ride with you, bro. Like you're on 2 wheels, they'll wave at you. The funniest thing is how like if you're at motorcycle meets, they don't do the car guy thing. They'll be like, dude, I love your intake. Dude, that thing's so out there. It's like a drag bike. That's so cool. And then they'll actually just stop there. I'm like so used to expecting them to be like, bud, I don't like the way your throttle body is. I don't like the way your manifold is. I wish there was a paint match to it. They just don't say anything. They're just like, no, that's cool. That's sick. I love it. And I'm just like, oh, crap. And that just kind of took me as a surprise because I had to start coding my brain to kind of be like that. I actually became happier when I rejoined the motorcycle community because I realized just how strange my life has been juxtaposed to the cars and how the two communities do differ a lot. Online, it's that way too. So this isn't just an Atlanta only difference. On the online community, motorcyclists are way different than car guys. They're just overall nicer. It's harder to be considered a racer. It's harder to get hated on there. There's a lot more things that motorcycles can get away with that cars can't. And I brought over a lot of that positivity back into cars, where I'm not nitpicking over stupid way dials feel or how infotainment systems feel, and I don't care about how door handles are placed or specs, data, and statistics on a car. If I like a car and it makes me feel happy, if I like enough of it, because there's still some vehicles that I think it's okay to be critical, I don't think it's okay to be hypercritical, because it feels like you're depriving yourself of happiness, where every single compliment must immediately be followed up with something negative. And I do think that, and always be forever grateful to motorcyclists for kind of reminding me of, hey, you can just say something nice about something and just stop there. The final thing that I think was really stupid that I did to cars, and you gotta expect this. Man, it's putting a stupid giant window sticker on my Z06. What was I thinking, bro? But what the f— I'm okay with Atasha, okay? Wraps and decals, I'm fine with these. They're a total different world. Please don't compare the two. And like, I was taught this by actual Atasha designers, actual wrap designers, and people who have talent in this industry, because it's okay to express yourself on your car. And at the end of the day, you're always taking that risk. What you do to express yourself will be what someone else thinks looks stupid and ricey. But if it's done at least tastefully or done with effort, then to some extent people have to respect it. Like one of my favorite Reddit posts about my car was called like, I think it was great execution but poor taste or whatever. And I think that's hilarious because it's only poor taste to them. It's not poor taste to me. But the fact that they said great execution still means they're like, yeah, he committed hard to this. And I look back at photos of Lucina. It's tragic the Z06 got rear-ended because that's the only reason I removed that wrap earlier. I don't think I'll ever do Natasha again because it's brought more attention than I would have liked to the car, but I absolutely would have ran that wrap for the course that it was due, probably 2 to 3 years, probably closer to the 2 years because the KPMF wasn't holding up as well as, you know, most brands like a Hexus or 3M or Avery. So that's my biggest suggestion to you guys if you're looking at your car wrap is 3M and Avery are, they're industry leaders for a reason. I'm fine with the wrap, but I can't believe I thought it was okay to just throw a giant sticker on my car. Even worse, to expect the same respect. Because when I did that, I always remember how the Atasha people in Atlanta were like, you know, he's got the heart, but he's not really going the right direction. Bottom of the barrel, it was just a $30, like people said it back then, and I now agree, where they're like, this guy just slapped a $40 sticker on his Corvette and just made haha funny videos. I would never do that to my Corvette. It looks so cheap and stupid. Anything on any of my windows. To be fair, I'm never a huge fan of slap stickers or peakers. If you're a fan of those things, sure, that's fine. Don't take this entry as me insulting you guys. The point I'm making is like, I absolutely was stupid by just putting a $40 sticker on a massive one on the back one of my rear window and expecting the same kind of respect as people who got actual well done designs. Like, holy crap. Having said that though, what are your regrets and what are stupid things you've done growing up as a car enthusiast? Make sure to share them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, make sure to share it with your kitten. More importantly though, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed this channel and you like cars and car content. I'll see you next video. Blade Angel out.